Train to be a hairsmith?
A lot of trial and error and guinea pigs.
Okay, actual guinea pig?
No.
Are they a medieval creature?
They would be South American medieval, but not European medieval.
Is there a particular braiding style or hairstyle that is like common to, or is it like by class? How does this thing work?
So I portray a woman from around 890 in Orkney, what's now today Orkney. So they would be a Hiberno Norse culture then. So the Picts would have been there before, and then the Norse moved in around that time. So typically women in the Viking era would have their hair covered. So we don't exactly know what the hair underneath looked like. So they often have braids. Braiding is a great technique that helps keep the hair from getting damaged. And then it would often be covered after. Covering your hair was also something when they started to convert to Christianity that was required. But a lot of women would cover their hair just because it keeps it cleaner, it keeps the smoke out. Like I can cook all day over an open fire with a head cover on, and when I go to bed at night, my hair doesn't smell like smoke. Vikings actually were one of the cleanest medieval people. We have tweezers, we have ear spoons, so to get the wax out of the ears. Tons of combs, men and women comb their hair a lot, and they usually bathed once a week. So the Romans actually made fun of them and joked that the reason that the Norsemen bathed so often was to seduce Roman women.
That's not a bad strategy, right?
I find it works, like cleanliness,
Next to godliness, next to sexiness.
I'm wearing 2 layers of clothing, so I have an underdress, which is linen, and an overdress, which is wool. So the underdress would get washed quite often, the overdress wouldn't. But the reason you'd wear an underdress is because it would absorb the sweat and the dirt, and then you could just change that.
Is the overdress itchy?
No, this is a good wool. Most of the wool that the public sort of has an appreciation for now is that like grandma scratchy wool blanket that if it touches you, you break out in hives. That is not actually what a lot of wools feel like. Wools, if you comb the proper fibers out and then you spin it quite fine, like what I have here. So this is a combed wool, and if you feel it, it's quite soft. Making a garment out of this would actually be quite soft. Yeah. It wouldn't be scratchy like grandmother's blankets. So, okay.
I was going to say, I think we should braid my hair next.
And fun fact about spinning wool for dresses, it would probably take about a year to spin enough thread to make a dress. Then you would have to weave it, and then you would have to sew it.
So like a wedding dress would be something really extravagant.
Wedding dresses are fairly modern. Weddings would typically you would wear your best, but it would be something you would wear a lot. There would never be one dress you would wear once and then never wear again. That's completely a luxury that we have today.
So not like a village dress that just got passed around as everybody got married.
It would get handed down because it would take so long to make an item. It would get handed down. It would get patched. It would get mended. It would get re-dyed because it would start to fade. So a very nice fabric. If that dress started falling apart, then they would use it as facing around the neck and around the cuffs, and it would keep getting used until the final life of a piece of fabric was often to be covered in tar and shoved in the hole in a ship to plug it. And that's where we actually have most of our evidence for Viking clothing, is from those tar-covered fabric pieces this big.
Okay, that's awesome. That's like recycle, reuse, like to the nth degree.
I'd be too lazy for all of that, so I would be Craig, the naked hillman from the rocks.
Yeah. Okay, well,
I am that now, I guess. I mean, they make me put this on to come in here, but...
Yeah. No shirt, no service.
A Viking woman could divorce her husband for showing too much skin. If he didn't wear a shirt, she could divorce her husband for that.
My wife would divorce me, too, if she saw me without a shirt on.
Yeah. So Rico Suave would stay single.
Yeah.
I have the best inspiration. I like this guy. Yeah, I definitely have the best inspiration. Leon! For that guy!
So what is the difference between all of these?
They're in different keys. They're tuned to different keys, but they're related. So this one is related in key to this one.
Do you ever play them with your nose?
You know, although it's tempting, I have not done so.
But we know somebody who does.
Do you find that you run into a lot of fellow recorder fans?
Not all over the place, but a lot of people are surprised that the recorder is a real instrument. Oh my God, that thing is real. It's not just that $2 plastic thing I learned in grade 4. It's like, yes, it is a real instrument, and people go on to be actually PhDs in recorder and perform all over the world.
So here you see the medieval chairs. Now, funny thing about chairs in medieval times is that you were not allowed to use them as chairs. You couldn't sit on them. They were more decorative in nature. So you know, the more you know.
At the end of the day, they played music, they played games, they danced. Very similar to what we do at home. We listen to music and we play games. So it's the same idea.
This kind of looks like curling almost.
It's called Shovgrot. It's a Scandinavian game from around the 10th century. And it's done with coins, trying to get your spots in the things to make your markers. 2 games down there are the originators of checkers and Trouble.
Awesome. I love Trouble.
There's backgammon, which was originally used to design strategies for war. And Mancala is a great game that's been found all over the different continents, played with shells, played with beads, played with rocks, and it's a great game for kids to play.
Mancala is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great game for all kids to play.